Hey guys, welcome back to Steinar Knutson, and this is part 3 in my Blogging for Business video series. Now, in our last video we talked about establishing a direction for your blog, and hopefully you had some time to think about some of those tips, and that kind of got your head around where you want to take your blog and what the right direction is for you as a business owner and a blogger. So in this episode we are going to be talking about planning, and this is something that I'm pretty passionate about, and I've talked to a lot of groups about this and done some seminars around this topic, and it's really important and it can really help improve your quality of life as a blogger. If you don't plan what you're going to write and what your blog is going to do and how you're going to present yourself on your blog, it can be super frustrating when it comes time to actually sit down and write your blog. So the first thing you're going to think about when it comes to planning is the name of your blog. And this is really hard because you got to think about your brand name, the keywords that people associate with your blog, your industry, kind of what words are already taken or names are out there already, and how closely or how far away you want to associate yourself with those blogs that are out there today. And then you got to think about the domain name or the URL that you're going to use for your website. There are already so many .coms taken, it's going to be really hard to find the one that you want, but if you work at it, you'll find it. So one good strategy for getting over that or thinking about what's available is go to register.com or godaddy.com, and there you can put in words that you'd like to use for the URL for your website and see what's available, and it'll come back with some recommendations or tell you what is and what is not available. And you might not get a .com, which would be a shame because I really recommend you get a .com, but you might have to settle for something else. So think about the name of your blog and how you want people to remember it and how easy it's going to be to use that name in your other forms of marketing. That's really important. So the name is the first thing. The second thing you want to think about is the topics you're going to cover in your blog. So say for example you're a realtor, you're not just going to talk about everything real estate. That's too general. You need to narrow in on a specific topic or set of topics that people can start to get to know you for, a specialty if you will. That is the best way to draw in your audience and keep their attention if you can specialize in one area of your industry. And so finding that niche is going to take some planning. So what I would do is sit down with a piece of paper or a spreadsheet and kind of list all of the general categories that not only you know something about, but stuff that you would want to talk about. And stuff that people are always asking your help for, that you feel really confident in. So what are those 3 or 4 categories or topics of information that are going to be suitable for you to write about on a regular basis? Because you got to really like this stuff if you're going to be blogging about it. Okay, and then break that down into more specific subcategories and subtopics, and this will help you start to frame up what the content is going to look like on your website. So spend a good hour cranking that out. Sometimes I take a whiteboard, and it just depends on how you like to lay out your ideas, but it's an excellent exercise. Sometimes I use what's called a blogging editorial calendar, where I list all these topics and think about how would I talk about these subjects over the next 3 to 6 months, and really think about how that's going to play out over time. So think about the topics you want to discuss. The next thing you want to think about is the frequency. How often are you going to update your blog? Are you going to do it every day, every week, once a month? You have to think about your capacity and how much time you have and energy you have to blog. If you don't think you can do it every day, then don't establish that at the beginning. Be realistic, and also think about what your audience can tolerate. If they're used to consuming information about your industry on a weekly basis, then don't try to shove it down their throat on a daily basis. If they're only reading a magazine within your industry on a monthly basis, maybe that is the frequency that's more suitable for them. So think about what you can handle and what your audience can tolerate, and that's the frequency that you probably want to start with in terms of how often you update your blog. Now the last point is your style and how you're going to write and what kind of content you're going to put on your site in terms of text, audio, video, images. Each of us has our own style of learning and our own style of sharing information and teaching others. So if your style is to write, long dissertations and 1,000-word essays, that's fine, but consider how your audience is going to consume that content as well. You want to try to match the style of your audience so that there is a connection and you're not going to lose people or turn them off with a style that doesn't match the way that they like to consume your content. And as I mentioned in a previous video, if they're more likely to respond to video or audio, then you got to do that. And the tools are really simple these days to make it happen. So think about your style and how you want yourself represented through your blog, and find the style that fits both you and your audience. So finding a name and the topics and the frequency and your style are all important pieces of putting together a plan for how you're going to blog. And this is a great process to go through. Spend a few days thinking it through. Put it down for a couple days and then come back and revisit your thoughts and become really clear on what your plan of attack is going to be. So that's it for today. Next video, we're going to talk about search engine optimization at a very high level, just so that you can start to get your head around that. We're going to go into a lot more detail into search engine optimization later, but it's important for you to understand what it is and how you can set up your blog appropriately from the get-go, so that you have good on-page optimization and you don't have to worry about that later on. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave those here on my blog or here in YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube, and you can always reach out to me on Twitter at Steinar Knutson. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.